Hello and welcome to the 6 months to 6 figures series of the Double Your Freelancing podcast. In this series, you'll follow a specific freelancer, in this case, Maia. I'm trying to point at her for the video people, as I coach them from early stages to earning a 6-figure annual income. Because if you break it down, $100,000 a year is essentially $8,333 a month. So my challenge is to see how quickly I can get somebody from kind of early stages to $8,333 a month. And my challenge is like, do it within 6 months. Hence, 6 months to 6 figures, very catchy. So in this series, I'll connect with Maia every week or two, and it'll follow the same format as the office hours coaching within the DYF Accelerator. And that's how these actually all started. So if you're watching these or listening and you find yourself thinking, I wish I could get coaching like this, know that you totally can. You can learn more at dyf.link/DYFA. In today's episode, Maia gets coaching from me to help her decide where to best spend her time in her business to really move the needle the most. Hint, it's not what she thought it'd be. Let's dive into today's episode. So, first off is, I'll have to get your whole background on the pain because I know you've got different things going on. You've been really overwhelmed, but just to give me the context in advance, what are you hoping to leave today's session with if you were to pick like a takeaway?
I think I would love to leave with a north because I think it's very easy for us solopreneurs to have to do everything, and like it's difficult to prioritize what is the actual next thing that I have to focus on, since I could do a million things and I can physically do them. So I want to talk a little bit with you about what's the kind of a roadmap that I have in mind, and just bounce back with you ideas on how to make it sustainable, like build it sustainably.
Okay. And before you go into the roadmap,
Mhm.
in a sustainable way, what's the end goal? Like, obviously, you don't have to go into tons of details since you don't have loads of time, but what's the like end goal business model that you're pursuing? Like, is your agency something you plan to exit out of, do forever? Like, what's your dream business in 5 years or whatever look like?
Good question. I love it. I want to productize my offers. I want to be out of the service provider circle. I love it now, but I'm 28 and I want to by 30 be able to have an online shop and pretty much what you guys did, like just teach, just dedicate to teach. I love memberships, like I love community, so that's something that I'm also looking towards. But I have a project that is called Colectiva Magazine, which is it's like a self-knowledge online magazine. And I would love to dedicate my time to writing and designing that project. Like I love Blank Page, my studio, to become just like my, income, where I don't have to do any service, and then I can dedicate my life to writing and, my publishing label, like my actual art.
Okay, cool. All right, so now I can hear your roadmap.
So at the moment, like I thought, obviously I have to build a website. Duh, that's the first thing. I had a website, but it didn't reflect where I was at. And right now, I need, like, I think the first step of the roadmap is really, really, really polish my offer ecosystem. Like, I see that right now I'm a bit like bending over backwards for all my clients. Like, oh yeah, I do this and I also do that, and yeah, totally, I can do that. And I want to have just content marketing and brand, like branding. Like I want that to be my 2 packages, maybe add-ons if you want them, but I just want to have 2 that I'm calling playbook is content marketing. And then the other one, I want to call it Basecamp, which is like brand foundations, everything that it has to do with building a brand strategy also. But then I don't want to say, okay, I'll send you a proposal, I'll add website, I'll add this and that. I just want to have like more productized programs almost that I can just run and not lose back and forth negotiating or crafting the proposals, or just, I just want to polish those 2. I feel like that's phase 1. And then phase 2 would be to reflect that on the website and make the UX logic so people can just book a button and just book me and just book the service, and they know what to expect. Everything is explained, so they know this week we're going to do the onboarding, the second week we're going to do discovery, this third week we're going to do strategy, and so I don't have to like back and forth eliminate clarity calls completely. And I feel like I have a good marketing system going on my personal Instagram and my referrals. Like right now, acquiring new clients is not the problem. I think the problem with it is to making bigger proposals, just raising my prices, because I feel like my website is wonky. Like I still feel like a bit of a wonky service provider instead of being like, here's my website, this is my solid thing. Like if you want to book me, great. If not, it doesn't matter. So yeah, just two faces. It's simple. Like I know what I have to do, but it's not simple, you know.
So what I find is challenging about your face is like, I have some questions I want to ask you, but I know that they're going to be overwhelming if you don't know.
No,
And
of course,
I know you're feeling overwhelmed though. And so like each assignment I give you is like one more chance for you to like get overwhelmed and not do anything. So I'm trying to think of like what assignments can I give you to help? But so let's dig into the urgent or like the most relevant thing. So you say that client acquisition isn't a problem. I want to understand specifically what that means. So like, what does your incoming lead flow look like right now?
My what, sorry?
What incoming lead flow do you have right now? Like you said, referrals and Instagram are bringing in leads. Like how many leads are contacting you per week?
I think per month I'm working with 3 clients, which is enough right now to sustain my lifestyle. I know that's not a lot, but I don't want to scale the studio. I just want to get the same amount of clients, just higher my prices.
But how many new leads are coming in each week, like asking you to work with you?
I would say probably one. Like every single lead that comes to me works with me. You know, it's that type of studio that is mostly by referrals, and it's mostly like everything I'm doing is just clarity calls. Like it's not scaled. It's not scaled at all. So I would say that I get 3 a month, like 3 leads a month, but I end up working with the 3 of them. And it has been like that since the beginning of the year, like a strike, I think you call it in English. Like, wow, every clarity call results in a converted client. So for now, I think I'm happy with that, but I totally know that I could raise my prices.
And do you do any ongoing work? Like for example, content marketing, that's usually an ongoing thing, but branding and strategy might be one-off. It sounds like you're saying most of your clients are one-off packages. Is that right?
And my 2 retainer clients, which I like, but I don't have the capabilities to do more retainer clients.
Okay.
So like I'm looking to do, and I don't know if this is realistic, I'm looking to do the same amount of work, like the same amount of hours that I put into design, because I do set a lot of boundaries with my time. I think when I said that I'm overwhelmed, I meant that I didn't scope like with my free time and like a place for the course during this last 3 weeks, because I prioritize free time a lot. I don't know if that's like parentheses, I'm lazy, but I prioritize just really not being on screen as much as I can. So yeah, priority, same amount of leads, but just raising my prices.
Okay. Well, so to me, like with what you're describing here, polishing your offer ecosystem and like updating your website and stuff like this is all scaffolding. And this scaffolding takes a lot of like upfront time to set up. And I think it's really valuable when you're going for scale. But the thing is, because of all this time that takes to polish up, especially with like a relatively, it's not like you're working with 50 clients a month. Like these processes, they still need refinement and honing. And if you formalize them into like let's say you build out some autoresponder and you build out all these type forms and client portal and all this stuff, you're doing it with like somewhat limited data and it might not be perfectly polished up yet. But it seems, and so I think that these things are both good and they're going to be relevant for you. But it seems like the sooner priority is raising your prices. But it sounds like you don't have an abundance of leads. Like let's say you were working with your 3 clients a month, but you had 10 leads a month coming in and you were turning them away. That's like the classic easy to raise your prices way, because you can just triple your prices and who cares if you lose these current clients because you have others. But in your case, like there is a very real risk that if you lose clients, like you don't get to replace them with other leads. Is that right?
I see. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the system, sorry, go on.
No, well, I was just first going to fact check that.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I've thought about it. My idea would be, and this is very like service provider who markets on Instagram. I think that this is the vibe. I would love to build a waiting list, always have a waiting list. Now booking June, now open July. This
Mhm.
is what I would love, and this is what would make me the most calm. Always leave one open for like a project that I really want to do, so I can just squeeze them into the month. But yeah, my idea would be to just work with 2 clients a month, one retainer, and that's it.
So to me, the easiest way to get there, like tell me about your Instagram marketing. I don't need details, but like
Mhm.
what I'm curious about is this. If I magically gave you 5 more hours a week, could you apply those 5 hours a week to your Instagram marketing strategy to like double down on working to generate a few more leads a month? Or is it something where you don't feel like you can directly correlate your time invested into a predictable amount of lead generation with your
No,
Instagram strategy?
totally. I would allocate my time that doesn't exist. I would just like duplicate myself and market myself more. Through my newsletter, I would market myself more through Instagram. Like I would just create more content that is design related. Because right now it's very casual. It's very like I am very much like I think my brand, I hate this word, but it's very much like the digital nomad. And I really get like a lot of leads because of that, because they're like, oh my God, where are you going? And I want to be a digital nomad too. So I do work with a lot of coaches and a lot of educators that also want to have that life. So I have a newsletter that is about nomad living and freedom seeking. And then I do add a little bit of my studio, like, oh, studio updates, this and that. This is how I book my clients. Like I do very, very soft core marketing. But if I could allocate more time, it would be on marketing.
Okay.
Still looking organic, still not looking salesy, because I think that's my brand.
And so do you feel confident that if you were to carve out like 5 hours a week, like I'm just kind of curious. Like let's say you spent 5 hours a week more on your current marketing strategies, like what do you think the result would be from that in leads in your inbox?
Mm, 5 hours, that's a lot because I could create a lot of, I could control inbound, outbound engagement on Instagram, and I could also generate a lot of really meaningful content to publish there. So I think it would be like 2 more leads a week.
Okay. So then
People asking. Uh-huh.
to me, here, how's this sound to you as a good roadmap? This is what I would do in your situation. So I would
Mhm.
say, because that's if you had 2 more leads a week, you'd be fucking sorted. So I would say, okay, how can I create 5 hours a week? What clients do I need to fire without having to eat ramen / not be able to afford to eat ramen? Step 1, create 5 hours a week. Step 2, use those 5 hours for marketing. Step 3, for every single lead that comes in beyond what pays your bills, just charge a higher rate and then gradually replace your clients. So like to me, there's this like supply and demand thing. And as somebody who's run a freelancing business that is reliant on word of mouth referrals,
Mhm.
I believe in the power of having a queue. If I know I've got next month filled up, I can charge whatever the fuck I want, because if they say no,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because I've got this person in the queue. But if I am needing every single lead that comes in, raising my prices is extremely risky, because if they
Yeah.
say no and I don't get them, then I'm screwed. And
Mhm.
if you have marketing strategies that are working and you just need the time for them, like my question for you is, how can you free up 5 hours a week to do them? Do you have any low hanging fruit that sticks out that you could just cut? Maybe you'd lose a bit of income, but you could just straight up cut the work and reallocate to marketing, or make
Yeah.
yourself a deal to imbalance your work life balance just a little bit for like a month. And I don't want to pressure you to do that because that's
No,
bad. I'm not
no,
going to tell you
it,
to do that because
it
I'm going
is
to do a bad job of that.
necessary. It is necessary. Like I honestly, like I work like 12 hours a week. Like honestly here, like I could work more. I just came from like working in an agency in New York for 4 years and I'm like, never again. I'm gonna work for myself. I'm gonna become a writer and live in Morocco, So I can totally
if you're willing, then I would I've been working way more hours a week than I would like, but I'm promising myself it's temporary. And I know people always do that and then it becomes permanent. So I'm promising myself I'm not gonna be one of those people.
Yeah.
But if you were to upgrade to like 20 hours a week or 17 hours a week and you just reinvest those 5 and you give yourself a threshold where it's like, all right, Maya, from Maya to Maya, once I hit XYZ threshold, I'm going to pull back. And that's my eventual goal. And I'm doing this as a short term. I'm putting in more work for the short term to create a better long term. I mean, that's entrepreneurship at its core. Like you do more now to do less later. So to me, what I'd like to see you do before you even think about any of the stuff in your roadmap, if it sounds reasonable to you, is get your lead flow higher. Use your lead flow to raise your rates for your incoming prospects. And just basically, if you only want to work with 2 clients a month, then it's simple. You price yourself at such a level that of all the leads coming in, only 2 can afford it. And the beauty of this approach is that if you have 1,000 leads coming in a month, you can price yourself way at the top if you only want to work with 2 of them. That's the solopreneur pricing strategy. And that's kind of what I did in my own consultancy is like, I was wanting to just work 12 hours a week on client work and free up the rest of my time for like starting SaaS businesses, starting stuff like this. Like that was my goal. And so I just kept raising my prices to counterbalance demand. Simple. So how do you feel about that? As your assignment for this week is just like allocate some time to marketing and see what you can get your lead flow to?
It's great. And I think I had a little bit of like overwhelming syndrome of like, oh my God, too many emails. I hate Circle. But now that it's like, there's a human here, there's 3 humans, I can be like, okay, I can become part of this community,
Yeah, I also turned off all the annoying emails. That was on me. I should have done a better job knowing that.
It's also on me. Like really, I took a year offline. Like I went live in India. I'm like coming back to life. So I'm like, my skin is super sensitive to like online stuff, but I am getting more resilient.
Much less like 20 emails in one day. Okay. Well then, yeah. So maybe what you do for now is do that. If you could, I'm going to drop a link for you to the homework assignments board. So if you could right now click this link, and actually let me drop you a second link to the template. So that link I just sent you is the board. This second link is my template. So if you could basically copy and paste the text from this template, make a new post and create like your goal for this week. And maybe that goal is spend, since you only have 3 days left in the week, maybe the goal is spend 3 hours on marketing. Totally. And then can you also go to the community events calendar and book for an accelerator session on Monday? Those are your...
So sorry, I know it's someone else's turn, but what is the accelerator?
It is the accountability call. So basically the first 10 minutes, I recap the best of the community. Second 10 minutes, we set goals. Third 10 minutes, we do some announcements. So it's basically just like your weekly check-in on homework. And then these office hours and the masterminds are like more targeted advice kind of thing. Okay. Thank you so much, Seth. Sure. So you like your homework. You're happy with it? Yeah. Super happy. Super happy. All right. Well then. All right. So there's the session. I'll be excited to see how she does in the coming weeks and see what she reports back with. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, leave good reviews, all those things. And as a reminder, if you want to get coaching just like this, you can join the DYF Accelerator, and your membership includes one-on-one live video coaching calls with me every week, where we'll do basically what I just did with Maia here. These office hours blocks happen on Wednesdays typically. I've got 2 blocks a day, and you book a 20-minute one-on-one session within them, where we connect on your goals, challenges, and kind of map you into the next steps. We cap the accelerator at 200 members to ensure everyone can get some direct one-on-one support like this. You can learn more at dyf.link/community. If you want to follow Maia's business, you can learn more about her at her business website, which is Blank Page Labs. That is blankpagelab.io. So singular, blankpagelab.io. Or on Instagram at instagram.com/MaiaBen. So that's MaiaBen. That's her Instagram. Thanks, and see you in the next episode.